Radar here from On the Radar Entertainment blog with another baseball observation. After the first week of baseball, the White Sox are doing the exact same thing. Having Manny, Benahuevos, and Dylan Covey pitch out of the bullpen when they have no business to be pitching out of the bullpen. They're not good enough to be starters. So you're wasting your time with them. You'd rather have Caleb Ferrer, Burr, and Hamilton on the roster. And again, where he's batting people. Polk at the bottom, Moncada second, continue to put Leor Garcia in the leadoff spot, putting Will Castillo clean up. The Sox issues are a lot larger than who's batting where and who's coming out of the bullpen. It's been an all-around disappointment because Rick Renteria does not know how to do managing a lineup card or the bullpen. Kenny Williams does not know how to manage a four-man roster. Those are those issues. The Indians are still batting a lot of days, Tyler Naquin or Jordan Luplow third. Nope. You want to bat Jose Ramirez third, and you don't want to bat those guys third. You want to bat them lower in the lineup. Now, the issue with the Tigers is I'm still seeing Nick Castellanos bat second and play right field, and I've seen a lot of Nico Goodrum at DH first base batting cleanup. That's not really where he belongs. He's a utility player. And they just got rid of Mikey Matuk for Jacoby Jones, which means that they have one less, more experienced outfielder. So that doesn't make sense. And Daniel Norris has been pitching out of the bullpen, which is not where he should be. And the Twins, on the other hand, Max Kepler's still leading off. They got starting pitchers in their bullpen instead of real starters. And the Royals continue to play Whit Merrifield in right field instead of Soler, calling up Bonifacio, calling up Brett Phillips. Terrence Scores a really useless fourth outfielder when he can't hit, really. And he's more of like a fifth outfielder, or in the playoffs, he's your pinch runner. That's really what he should be. And Billy Hamilton's not leading off. He's mostly batting last, so you're kind of wasting him. That's what he does. And Ian Kennedy's still in the bullpen, so the Royals don't know what they're doing there. And the Yankees just losing Stanton and Duhar and everybody to injury. They're still batting Judge second. He's the last remaining guy. It should be him, Luke Voigt, and Greg Bird, and Gary Sanchez until he just got hurt the other day to be the core of your lineup. Not batting him second. DJ LeMahieu should play second base every day. If Torres is going to play shortstop every day, you just have Urshela and Wade play third base. Who cares? And then the Rays having Choi and Lau bat cleanup. Choi playing a lot of days when you should play Robertson or Arroyo or some young guy like Lau at second base or third base with Donnie Diaz at first base. Some combination there. Stop playing Choi. He's a quad A player. He's not good enough to be a major leaguer. Not bad enough to be a triple A player. Avi Garcia's got to get more opportunities to play because the outfield's set. Tommy Pham, Kevin Kiermaier, and Austin Meadows is a great outfield. Avi Garcia has no business playing the outfield, and Choi has no business playing first base. And again, you got Beeks and Glasnow last year, and you still have Jacob Faria, and you signed Charlie Morton. There's no need for these openers to pitch, a couple innings to start the game and then turn it over to the bullpen, which is full of experienced pitchers in the fact that they started in the minor league, so they could be, even though they're in the bullpen now, they can go multiple innings. You have Beeks, Glasnow, and Faria. You can have a fine rotation. Kevin Cash, you're getting praised to be a great manager, but you need to go back to what baseball is doing. 5 starters. 3 starters is like from many, many years ago. This is not, you're going backwards, okay? And the Jays, they decided that Kevin Pillar's gone because they want to play youngster Anthony Alford. Well, guess what? They picked up Socrates Brito, and they're not using Alford. And they signed Grichuk to extension, so they're going to keep Grichuk. But he's a corner outfielder. The Cardinals only play him in center field because they didn't have a center fielder. He's a corner guy. Alford, the young guy. Brito, who you just got in a trade. And both Billy McKinney and Teoscar Hernandez and your own Dalton Pompey, what do they all have in common? They're center fielders. Any one of those guys should be playing center field, not Randall Grichuk. Now, he hasn't always been batting second. They've been putting him a little lower. He should be in the middle of the lineup with Justin Smoke. Now that you don't have Kenneth Morales or Pilar on your team. And Roddy Tellez is now the DH. But yeah, that's why they traded that Smith Jr. guy to the Orioles. There was no room on the Blue Jays roster for him. But apparently after one day of playing Mancini in right field, he's been playing there a lot. He's your first baseman DH with Trumbo, Winter, and Davis in this slump. If you want to play him in the outfield, put him back in left field. I don't know. Mullins is no longer leading off every day and playing center field. They're playing a lot of Joey Rickard in center field. But Joey Rickard, if he's going to play center field, you need to play Smith in right field. To do the center fielder, you put him in right field. Mancini is not an outfielder whatsoever, so first base is where he is because he's your best hitter. He's the heart of your lineup. He should not be put in injuries, put in a way to get injured. And Jonathan Villar should not be batting third. He should be batting leadoff if you're not going to bat Mullins. That's just wasting what you have. And the Rangers, I saw them already put Gallo in center field one day. Ronald Guzman's on the DL. Play Gallo first base and continue to play Hunter Pence and Chu in left field. And if you want to play Logan Forsythe, then have him play some second base one day, have him play some shortstop another day, or even put him at DH or left field. There are options for him instead of not playing Gallo at first base. And the Astros, whenever they let me Diaz in the lineup, he's playing first base. And moving Gurriel to third, starting Gurriel should just stay at first base. You got Diaz to replace Gonzalez to play second, third, and short. That's where you got him to be. You didn't get him to play first base because you have Tyler White if he's not DHing that day. Because they're DHing Brantley some days, so to keep the outfield fresh, so White could play first base. And the Angels, why are you using Zach Cozart at third base? He's played shortstop maybe one time, second base like once or twice. The whole point was you got the Fletcher guy, the young guy, is going to play second base, and Cozart has to stay at third base. And if you're going to play Cozart at third base because you're playing Fletcher, that's one thing. But a lot of days, Tommy La Stella is playing second base. If you're going to play a backup at second base who's experienced pretty much playing everywhere, then put Cozart at second base and go with Fletcher and La Stella at third base, or Ward, or any one of your backups. Cozart's still an everyday player. He can still play shortstop, but second base is where he's going to have to be. And the Cole Calhoun Trout 1 and 2 thing, not a good idea. He's been batting Chapman mostly second this year, but he's batted a little down to third because that's where he should be without Olson in the lineup. And Mark Hanna, why are you in center field? Liriano is the everyday center fielder. Piscotty has career innings in center field. Robbie Grossman has career innings in center field. I don't understand this. If you don't have yourself, Fowler on the roster, or anybody can play center field, I'd rather much play Franklin Barreto in center field, the natural-born shortstop, or Chad Pinder, who's played a lot of innings this year so far in the corner spot, than play Cannon center field. You did it when you didn't have outfielders, but now you have plenty of outfielders for the man roster. That Cannon should only be getting at bats at first base with Olson injured if you're not playing Morales every day or even DH. There's no need for him in center field. And the Mariners, there's no need for playing Mitch Haniger in center field. Yeah, you don't have a natural-born fourth outfielder on your roster to play center. Domingo's in left, and Smith is in center, and Bruce will play right field most of the season, but then that puts Haniger in center because you're playing Santana. You could just play Bruce every day at DH and continue to play Edwin Encarnacion at first base and switch him off with Dan Vogelbach or Jay Bruce in that situation because Healy's playing third base with Seager out. Healy should just stay at third base every day until Kyle Seager comes back. Stay at third base so that Bruce, Edwin, and Vogelbach can platoon at first base DH. So you can just keep the outfield Haniger, Smith, and Santana straight up. Because Haniger should also be batting third, not second. He's probably the best hitter you have. And the Cubs, Zobrist has been leading off a lot of days, and Brian's still batting second. They got to fix that up, and I don't need to see Brian in the outfield whatsoever. Zobrist in the outfield, okay, that's fine if you're playing Bodie. I don't want to see Hayward in center fielder. He's not a center fielder. Zagorowicz guy, he should be in center field if you're not going to play Almora, because that's what happens when you send out Ian Happen. You don't have anybody else. Cardinals still batting Carpenter and Goldschmidt 1 and 2. Don't understand that. You're paying Dexter Fowler this money. Just throw him in center field. Throw him in the leadoff spot because he was really your center fielder, and put him in left field. Let Ozuna play right field. And maybe put Colton Wong second, or you can continue to play Matt Carpenter in the top of the line. Just put him second, not lead off, because you want the runners on base when they come up. That's all I'm going to say. And then the Pirates, they've had a lot of injuries, so I've seen different lineups that are weird and stuff, but nothing major there. Just saw Joe Musgrove pitch out of the bullpen earlier in the year. And the Marlins love this Rosiel Herrera, this utility player that's gone from team to team. I've seen a lot of games he's playing right field or left field. I've seen Miguel Rojas play shortstop a lot of games, and I've seen Wei and Cheno, they're playing all this money in the bullpen. You have JT Riddle and Brian Anderson. That's a nice young left side of the infield. You have lots of outfield options in right field and left field to play along with Brinson that you could play the young guys. And because you have Neil Walker and Prado playing first base, because Castro's got second base locked down, first basemen Cooper and O'Brien are playing right field, which is fine. But then if you're going to play a utility guy in left field and Granderson in left field, you're in last place. You don't need to play veterans or utility players. You got to play the young guys. And the Phillies still betting Maikel Franco 8th and McCutchen leadoff. Like Segura and Herrera have the most experience batting leadoff for 1 and 2. You know, Herrera should be batting leadoff for 2. Same thing with with Segura, because they were having Galvis lead off sometimes when he was on the team and Hernandez, but it should be the way. It should be Franco not batting eighth, and it shouldn't be Andrew McCutchen leading off. And the Dodgers, Kiki and Chris Taylor, if you're going to play them at second base or in the outfield, let them lead off. Don't have Cody Bellinger bat second and Jack Peterson lead off. What's the point of having them if they're not going to use their speed at the top of the order? And some days I saw one day Max Monty playing second base and Bellinger playing first base and giving Verdugo the opportunity to play right field. If you're gonna tease the people of Dodger Nation to play Muncy second base, you should have in spring training given more innings so he can get better at it. Maybe play Justin Turner at second base, which was the position he came up with the Mets, and play Muncy at third base. But they like playing Muncy, Freese, and Turner at the corner infield. They like throwing Bellinger in the outfield. But they should give Alex Verdugo an opportunity more than just occasionally playing him. And then the Padres one day had Will Myers in center field, and they're not playing Renfroe as much, and they're playing Franmil Reyes instead. That's fine. But there's no need for Will Myers to play center field if Frankie Cordero and Manuel Margot are both on the team. Those are two center fielders. Nobody else. Sorry, if you want to play Will Myers and Renfroe and Reyes, you do that when you have a DH option. And stop having Kinsler lead off and Will Myers or Hosmer bat second. That's the whole point of having Manuel Margot or Cordero on your team. They got speed, bat him lead off. Kinsler's the perfect number 2 hitter. You want Myers or Hosmer in the middle of your order with Manny Machado. And then I've seen a lot of guys who are in the bullpen, like Robbie Erlin to name, instead of starting, and they're giving Matt Strahm an opportunity. The dude was a flamethrower reliever who had experience in the minor leagues as a starter. The previous teams never thought it was good enough to play him as a starter, so why are you? You're starting guys who have been major league relievers, and you're taking guys who have been major league starters and putting them in your bullpen. It's just out of whack. Now, Adam Jones leading off doesn't make the most sense when you have Ketel Marte, Eduardo Escobar on your team. Both those guys are contact hitters. You can bat them lead off more often than you're going to do Jones. And they play Martell in center field because Souza's injured and Jones is playing around right field. That's totally fine, but if Souza was healthy, I'd want to keep Ketel Marte second base because Wilmer Flores is not a great defensive player. And I've also seen him play some first base too when Jake Lamb hurt. So the Diamondbacks lineup, and then the rotation is kind of weak. Matt Andriese pitching at the bullpen is a waste of his talent. The Giants got Michael Reed and Connor Joe to play left field. He started the year, which was pretty dumb. Now that they got Kevin Pillar, he's clearly one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. So continue to play him in center field and let Duger play the corner spot. Now Raul Parra is going to play left field. And what you really need then is a guy who can play the outfield, all three. Because Pillar and Duger are center fielder, but you may want a guy who can play all three in case you don't want to play one of those guys one day. But those are just the weird things with the box scores and how things are going. And I can't believe how good the Mariners are this year, but that's just been 1 week, one full week of baseball. So this is Radar from On The Entertainment Blog. Hope you enjoyed my first week plus of observations.